Checking. Hello and welcome to the live stream. Just going to confirm that the mic is on. How's everyone doing? Is there anybody there? Yes. Alright. Well, at least you can hear me. You out there. How is this going to work? What am I going to talk about? I don't know. Don't have much of a plan for this one. But yeah, I guess I failed this week. Did not do my Friday video. Did not put a video out on Friday. How sad. Because I frankly been quite discouraged by this entire project and not entirely motivated to continue putting out vlogs of any form, much less, this extremely high volume that I've been doing. Starting to really think that it's not something that I can sustain for very much longer, if at all. Yeah, I don't know. Is all the constant trolling getting to me? Perhaps. I get some positive feedback, which is, nice. Comrade Crimson, talk about Wiener. Wiener? Who the hell's Wiener? Googling Wiener. A Frankfurter or similar sausage. A penis. Talk about penises. Norbert Wiener, Mr. Cybernetician. I don't fucking care about cybernetics, frankly. I think that it's overrated, and I feel like there was a consensus in the USSR that cybernetics is a bourgeois plot, and from my perspective as a Maoist, and with some anarchist tendencies, I've been quite influenced by the NNUS collective, but I think it's all overrated and is not actually a live issue. The question is degrowth, not growing the productive forces. The real imperative on revolutionary cultures, societies, is to dismantle the unsustainable forces of production that we will be left with by capitalism, and to think of more decentralized modes of production and distribution and all that sort of thing that cybernetics is really not about. Cybernetics is about, logistics and distribution and planning. But I think the question of planning is just greatly overstated, and it's just not that big of an issue. Yeah, that's my opinion. And in a communist utopia, there will not be a need for this global system of production, because the global system of production is based on exploitation. The only reason that capitalist firms need to produce things, manufacture goods in one far-off land and then ship it to another far-off land, and they need to constantly be doing that in this kind of just-in-time style of production that has been ongoing since the 70s, is because they're chasing cheap labor. They're producing things in at one time in Mexico, now in China, and like in the Far East, and in Africa and India and all that, because that's where the cheap labor is. And obviously, under communism, there's not going to be cheap labor. We're not going to be paying for labor power. First of all, there are going to be no more commodities, but there won't be this need to like chase production around the globe, chase like the cheapest labor in order to maximize profits around the globe. Genuine question: what is the Maoist perspective on the Gang of Four? Didn't Mao criticize the Gang of Four? I don't know really what the Gang of Four is. What is it? A bunch of Chinese leaders? I mean, I know the band. I don't think Mao was listening to any post-punk. For Chinese Communist Party officials, I have not got to that part of the book that I'm reading right now. They came to prominence during the Cultural Revolution and were later charged with a series of treasonous crimes. The gangs Jing Qing, Mao's last wife, Zhang Qingchao, Yao Wenyuan, and Wang Hongwen. So far, these are not characters that I recognize from this history book that I'm reading right now. Came to the national spotlight during last year and was a member of the ultra Maoist group. A literary critic, Chinese labor activist, and politician, spent most of his career in Shanghai. He's an important political figure. He's the youngest member. Together with General Lin Bao. Lin Bao is a character that I recognize. He was the major guy who was kind of like directing the country. He was kind of like in charge of the party after Mao stepped down following the Great Leap Forward in like the very early 60s, and started instituting a lot of like capitalist policies in order to like boost agricultural production following the famine. Chinese government for the worst excesses of the societal chaos that ensued during the 10 years of turmoil. The downfall, I don't know anything about them really, so. What was the history book again? The history book that I'm reading right now, sorry, it's just being used to prop up my laptop. It's called Mao's China and After, written by Maurice Meissner. It's a really great book. Quite recommended. It's pretty expensive, but you can find PDFs on the internet. It's quite thick, so I wouldn't really recommend reading a PDF, but making good progress on it. It's very readable. A lot of original citations, so there will be a lot of things that you can do kind of like follow-up research on, but I like it because it's sympathetic, obviously, so I don't have to like parse out like bourgeois anti-communism. I mean, it is pretty critical of Stalin, but who isn't critical of Stalin? But yeah, it's a great book about Maoism, history of China. Really kind of downplays a lot of the worst propagandistic kind of anti-Chinese communist rhetoric that goes around, and I like it. All right. Well, Comrade Crimson, who are you? Identify yourself. How did you find this place? I really wish that I'm just looking at this page for this this talk that I missed by Xian Gai. She is a aesthetic philosopher that is pretty interesting, and I wish that I missed the talk. I was at a Michael Heinrich Zoom conference earlier this morning. It's pretty interesting, kind of talking about the rise of this extreme right party, AfD, Alternative for Deutschland, in Germany and how they're gaining like power in the parliament, in the German parliament, and how they are poised in the 2021 elections to potentially gain a lot of power. And he was talking about how in the German parliamentary system, it's different from the Canadian parliamentary system, where here in Canada, political parties are able to form majority governments and still like govern without necessarily forming coalitions. But in Germany, it seems to be necessary for any party to form a coalition in order to, govern, to be like the governing party. And I guess that is like the major roadblock for the AfD, this extreme right party. But I guess they've also like gained sufficient power that they could pose like perhaps a legitimate threat. Anyway, what else do I have to say? Oh yeah, the issue of whether or not I'm going to be able to continue doing this, whether or not I want to continue doing this. I mean, I do. It's all right. I don't know if it's any good, these videos that I've been making, if they're worthwhile, if people would, be watching them if I weren't like advertising them so heavily. If it, I mean, whether or not it's sustainable, I don't know. If there's any point to doing it, I don't know. There was a time when I believed in the vlog form, and I still do. I mean, albeit somewhat cynically, I think that it is like my faith in the form is mostly predicated on my belief that is there a effective means of like establishing kind of parasocial relationships, and that is something that I want to do entirely, for purposes that I've spoken about on this live stream before, but basically trying to build an audience so that in the future I will be able to sell them my books. But yeah, so I believe in the vlog form. I think it is effective in that regard, but I also think that it is bad in many other regards. I mean, there are plenty of vloggers who put out like daily content, but they don't really like try even to talk about ideas. So the pressure is not so heavy on them, and they're not really putting themselves out in the same regard. I get a lot of flack on this channel because I'm putting myself out there in a way that I'm exposing myself, and it's very easy to just say you're a stupid asshole and etc. I mean, this doesn't really hurt my feelings, but it does wear on me, and in certain moments I wonder if there's any point in continuing to do this. I was thinking, because in the new year I'm going to be participating in a Hegel reading seminar. So I was thinking of just going back to the type of content that I used to do, where I would just read a book out loud, and instead of trying to, well, instead of just recording an audiobook, basically, I would try to do something a bit more interesting and actually like commentate on the text as I'm reading it. That seems like a lot of work, especially for Hegel, and I don't really know that much about him, so. But like that's another thing, is the question of whether or not this level of content is good for anybody. I see myself as somewhere in the kind of intermediate sphere. I'm not like advanced. I don't have a lot of knowledge on these topics that I cover. I don't have like broad comprehensive knowledge, so I'm not able to like lecture in a kind of way that is maybe satisfying for a lot of people. I'm not able to just like form these kind of closed circuits around an idea and just like comprehensively lay it out and answer all the questions and everything. But at the same time, I am dealing with topics that are not just ABCs, like whatever it is 101. It's at like slightly more elevated level than that, I hope. but then like the content itself, like my reflection on it is mostly kind of ad hoc and just trying to like figure things out on direct. And yeah, something that kind of annoys me, something that I don't think I can legitimately be annoyed by it because I've set myself up for this, but a lot of the comments are people just kind of like bringing in like whatever kind of thing that they like and just like saying, oh, I wonder how this other concept or this other philosopher relates to whatever it is you're talking about. I wonder, or can you like comment on this particular like concept or all that sort of thing? Like, I don't like that. That's not what I'm about. I made a video against eclecticism. I don't like just like bringing in ideas willy nilly, and just like that's absolutely just not what I'm about. But you know, maybe I've set myself up for that as like a guy who's like talking about all this shit and like to some extent kind of branding myself as like a guy who is interested in like philosophy or like theory, critical theory, whatever. But I'm not really like I don't care that much. I don't want this channel to be a space where we all like are flexing on like the books that we've read or something. Uh, what did I want it to be? I want it to be like a space where I could like give my opinion because I feel like my opinion is pretty distinct from a lot of the opinions that are out there. I feel like I am, you know, somewhere I have like a I don't know, a unique voice or something. Just at least not a voice that I personally have seen reflected in online kind of leftist media. Um, so I wanted to be able to do that. I wanted to like kind of establish a zone, a framework for people who are like me, who think like me, and there definitely are some out there. There must be because you know nobody is unique. So I wanted to establish that kind of zone, and then you know we could all kind of like settle into like a shared kind of discourse, like a shared set of ideas, shared set of assumptions, and you know be able to talk on like a common level and not have to put up this like pretentious facade. um, I was always afraid of this channel coming across as pretentious. I don't really think it is because I think like the volume of content that I produce kind of strips away any pretension. Like I think it should be pretty apparent, or maybe it's not. Maybe I'm like disguising it too effectively. But I am not an expert on anything that I talk about. I don't even really consider myself to be particularly well read. I just have, you know, some ideas, some things that I've taken to heart, and I've like formulated somewhat of a worldview. Um, yeah, perhaps that is valuable to the Zoomers out there. I always got to remind myself that the audience, unfortunately, are young children. Not to be a condescending prick, but that is kind of how it is. All right. Well, what do you think? What does the listener think? Thumbs up the video. If you're in the chat room, you better fucking click thumbs up right now. Okay, that's one. Alright, we've got 4 concurrent viewers. I don't have much to say today, so you're gonna have to give me something to go off of. I've already spoken a bit about Wiener and cybernetics. It's overrated. That's my opinion. What do we have coming down the pike for the channel? Still have an interview scheduled. I was unfortunately I had to cancel the interview with the communizer, like gender theorist, whose stuff we've been reading a lot on the podcast, Maya Gonzalez. Just too busy right now. It's December, so fair. Who wants to do an interview in the middle of December? But so that is being put off for some time, perhaps forever. And then outside of that, I have another interview scheduled with Ben Noyes on Friday. And then I also have a pre-interview today with Chris Chen. And then from there, I was going to kind of like take it a bit easy in terms of like trying to reach out to people for the rest of the month. And in the new year, I would start reaching out to more people. In the new year, I have a lot of plans for the Patreon. It all came to me one evening when I was feeling particularly depressed about this Thursday evening. In fact, it's why I didn't put out a video on Friday. It's because I was feeling very depressed and discouraged about this whole venture. But at the same time, I was thinking about it and trying to specifically frame how the Patreon would work and how to get people over there. By the way, if you're listening to this, I have not given my spiel today, but you need to support this channel. You absolutely need to. If you want me to continue, like, just please realize that I'm going through a phase where I feel like this is completely fucking pointless and stupid. And if you want to help me continue, want to motivate me to continue, then you should, support the channel financially. It's not the money that really, the money doesn't matter. It's about the positive reinforcement. So there's a Patreon link. There's also a PayPal link if you feel so inclined. If you want to support the channel, if you want it to continue, if you want to support the podcast as well, which is the more serious project, obviously, then donate. What happened? Should I go over? I guess since nobody's chatting with me, I'll go over the analytics. I wonder what is going to show up. Which browser? I have two browsers open. I have far too many tabs open. Oh, it's the pizza dough one. Let's see. I still have this tab from last week. I have this thing from the Angry Workers Collective, who I've spoken about on the channel before. Their kind of review of EndNotes 5. I have this essay from Frederick Jameson, a review of, or just like an overview of William Gibson's writing. I have this essay from Real Life magazine that I plan on reading. I don't know, it was going around on Twitter, and it seems kind of intriguing. I have this, another essay from Maya Gonzalez on specifically Italian theories of reproduction. I have this pizza dough recipe, and then here we are, the channel. I think most remarkable from the last week is that there are a number of comments, and I unfortunately had to like kind of troll a lot of people. Unfortunately, I say unfortunately. It was a pleasure. So this person compared me to Peter Dinklage, who, as far as I know, is the dwarf from who acted in Game of Thrones. Sarcastic response and sarcastic remark. This fucking idiot just came around and posting like, oh god, this is so stupid. What the hell this is what I'm talking about when I say that I don't want this. Like, I unfortunately am coming across as some kind of asshole who just like flexes like I don't know, theory knowledge, some kind of like theory bro asshole, flexing their knowledge or whatever, but that's really not what this channel is about. I don't want it to be like that. I want it to be, um, yeah, intermediate in terms of the concepts that are being covered, but still like very humble and unpretentious in my approach to them, so that beginners are able to, I don't know, follow along. And like if I were to do a Hegel reading, then it would be me like struggling to understand Hegel, but I feel like that would be helpful to people who are also like the beginners who are at my same level, who are also struggling to understand. Anyway, this dumbass is coming along, and is it problematic for me to be like outing people as complete morons? Whatever. Just asking me to recommend, like, I don't know, it seems like English is not their first language, but they wanted me to recommend some like Foucault on criminology, and then they're like studying law or something, and they just want me to like fucking like tell them what to read or something. That's not what this is. And then this dumbass I also got into a spat with on Reddit, just like anti-Maoist shit. I don't really respond to this sort of thing because it's not worth my time. Frankly, it's not worth my time to try to bring people in from such a late, who are so far gone, who are so far regressed. Owen, what's up, Owen? I feel like each video you make shitting on Deleuze posters will bump those numbers up. Yeah. This person just says hello. That's nice. Yeah. Whatever. Alright, let's go to the analytics. Last 28 days, last 7 days since our last live stream. I feel like the shit has gone down. I mean, I didn't post a video on Friday. This video that I did post, it did get stickied in one subreddit, but it hasn't got a lot of action in that subreddit. Sorcery. Because, people are dumb. I mean, this subreddit is full of 14-year-olds anyway. It's stickied, but it only has one upvote. That's sad. I think the comments are pretty superficial. I mean, that video was, it was about as half-assed as every video that I make, which is to say, quite. I mean, like the real issue that I was trying to bring up of like saying how of trying to relate Adorno's idea of immanent critique to liberalism and then make an equivocation between liberalism and anarchism. It's not something that I had like tried to articulate before I press record on the camera, so it's a bit difficult for me to and not very well said. That video deserves a follow-up. I mean, I had like thought about just the idea of immanent critique and specifically relating it to art criticism or something like that, which is a lot easier to think about, but then thinking about trying to relate it to anarchism or liberalism as like an object that is kind of apolitical, and trying to like tease out like a political standpoint from that quote from Adorno is a bit more challenging. I mean, this video did pretty decently. It's over 400 views at this point. Has like a kind of memey title. The views percentage is quite low. I feel like I have to say this every time I make a video looking at my analytics, but again, the average view duration is expected. I expect it to be quite low because I'm spamming these videos across Reddit, getting in a lot of people who probably are expecting like much more like heavily produced kind of video, not expecting a vlog, and then immediately tune out because they don't want to engage with me personally, which is not something that I take offense to. It's just like the vlog format, especially in this realm of talking about like philosophy and ideas and whatnot and communism, the vlog format, especially this kind of like I guess you do see like a lot of talking heads, but they're very rehearsed. But this kind of like impromptu vlog format, and specifically like getting into philosophy rather than getting into like I don't know, the kind of like boring um like empirical kind of shit that like bread tubers love to talk about. I mean, I don't see a lot of that. So it's a bit new to people. And anyway, this is all to say that the average view duration is quite low, but I expect it to be low. So I'm not entirely embarrassed by that, but it is objectively embarrassing. So I just feel like I have to justify myself. Like if I were not promoting these videos on Reddit, then I know that I'd be still getting like significantly fewer views than this, even though I have 304 subscribers at this point. Let's look at the chat. If you make any philosophical figure catch on as a meme, who would it be? So if the inspector barely even engage with the Debord or SI philosophy. Is our SOTS the subreddit that's into John David Ebert shit? Would be a tough crowd to poach. If I could make any philosophical figure catch on as a meme, who would it be? Probably George Berkeley. George Berkeley, like his philosophy is already a meme. Just like pure idealism, and like nothing exists in the world. I don't know. That's basically a joke already. It was like a meme in his own time. Yeah, associated with spectacle. I mean, I'm sure that it's a bunch of 14-year-olds. Like basically every other subreddit is a bunch of 14-year-olds. But yeah, I like to spam, and it's also like incredibly reactionary. Like the amount of times that I've been linked like Jordan Peterson shit in that subreddit is pretty astonishing. Like it seems to be just like a stupid poll is, you know, nominally Marxist, but it's actually like a right-wing cesspool. That Sorcery of the Spectacle subreddit is also a real reactionary hive. It's like nominally associated or affiliated with this kind of leftist figure, Debord, but the people who are there for the memes, for because Debord is cool. He's kind of up there with like Deleuze and stuff. Except that, like, you know, even among like the Deleuze posters on the internet, the Deleuze fetishizers, I feel like there is more of a tendency to actually read Deleuze, just because like you can read it and get nothing out of it. It can totally like wash over you and make no impact, except that, you know, you'll get some things. Like he uses words like piss and shit, and like talks about like psychoanalysis, and like refers to kind of like artists, and like does like all of these kind of like novel theoretical mashups, and like invents a lot of neologisms. So you can like read Deleuze and like superficially, and like kind of like hook on to like a few things. Maybe that's what he advocated for, that's what he wanted, but whatever. Debord is like, I think, a more kind of like rigorous thinker, and yeah, he's more, I don't know, like in a kind of traditional canon. Like he references Hegel and stuff, so I feel like it's just not quite as easy to be like a memer who doesn't actually want to read anything. Just like with Adorno, like you can't, it's not as easy to fetishize Debord himself as a thinker and his actual text. You can fetishize, like he did still, Debord come up with concepts like the spectacle, which can be understood outside of reading, Society of the Spectacle, like that can be like boiled down to, very simple kind of understandable format. Um, Deleuze, I don't know if you can do that as much, like explain body without organs in 5 minutes or less, or I'll fucking kill you. Adorno as well, like even the culture industry is like, I don't know, it's very deep concepts, pretty difficult to understand. Anyway. So this video chimes greatly forward in the ecological crisis. I mean, basically, so many of my videos these days are just rehashing, or like re-articulating things from my podcasts and interviews. But this was kind of like based on something that I was talking about Jasper Burns with in the interview I did with him, the metabolic rift, and the need to, I don't know, degrow to like dial down production and the forces of production. But then I was also reading, this history book and got to the part of the Great Leap Forward, and I thought it was just really remarkable. I got some decent. I feel like there are some well-meaning commenters on Reddit who are engaging with this, but I didn't respond to them because there's just like a certain attitude that I just won't fucking engage with. Even if you're well-meaning, if you just say no to a statement, or if you, I don't know, like I'm not going to waste my time on that. Like I'm not going to waste my time kind of trying to convince somebody who says that Maoism is an authoritarian ideology that it is not an authoritarian ideology. I'm not going to waste my time on that. I'm not going to waste my time on somebody who just kind of like doesn't engage with what I'm saying in any kind of like charitable or like interested way, who kind of takes this as something like a kind of like antagonistic kind of debate or something. I'm not interested in debating even. I mean, I'll engage with people who disagree with me, but I don't know. There's a particular like type of phrasing that if you fall into that, then basically if you're not respectful, then I'm not going to waste my time talking to you. So this is all to say that there is some decent engagement with this video on Reddit, but I'm not going to go look for it. But I feel like I should go back and engage with it. Like somebody else jumped in and like a conversation ensued, and I appreciate that. But I personally didn't want to waste my time on that. This fucking thumbnail was the greatest thumbnail that I've ever made, I think. Lord forgive me, but I'm about to destroy left unity. Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Fucking Bugs Bunny memes. Sometimes these thumbnails just come to me. This one, I don't know, this video that I made in August is literally like the worst fucking video. I mean, my videos haven't gone that much better, but they have gone better. And this is from a phase, when I just started doing this, and I feel like I remember just changing my mind about what I was talking about in the middle of the video. So there's this like dramatic shift in what I'm talking about, and I go from kind of like talking about media strategies to just like rating and like kind of like just talking about like the various like popular leftist media things that I listen to, and saying what I think about them. But it's still getting views. I really have to do a follow-up. It's just loaded with the description is loaded with like big keywords, so it still gets a lot of views. Anyway, watch time 92 hours, subscribers has 32. Dramatic drop on Friday because I didn't put out a video. Blah 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 blah. Reach, let's see, down, impressions, whatever, who cares. This is good. I got this is like something that I should care about, because this is more so than the average watch time on any particular video, because like the majority of my traffic is coming from external sources from Reddit, right? That's how I'm able to get so many views in such a short amount of time for my videos, because I usually post them in advance. I'll usually like make a video the day before, schedule it to post at 6 a.m. and then I also, there's a website where you can like schedule Reddit posts. So I'll schedule that all out a day in advance. I'll post at 6 a.m., which is like the best time. Early in the morning is the best time to post any kind of content. So the most of the traffic comes externally. So the average watch time on any given video is quite low because, again, as I've already said, it's a bunch of people who don't know what they're getting into and they're not interested. Fine, doesn't bother me. Hopefully, I mean, the idea is that some people will be into it and they'll stick around, but this is what I actually care about, because this is traffic just from YouTube. This is where, you know, like YouTube is like showing like thumbnails or the video to people, and then 3% of people are clicking on the thing, and then you're getting 376 views or impressions just over the past 7 days, and then the average view duration of people who are already on YouTube, who are already watching videos and like kind of like exploring and like clicking around. They could be subscribers who are being served my video on their homepage, or just like random people who are not subscribers but are, you know, the algorithm thinks are part of my demographic or whatever. They are watching for a much higher duration, which is something that is actually more meaningful, because it's like people who are already on the platform, people who are, I don't know, I guess more likely to engage more substantially, I guess. Who this is really how you need to, like, if you're playing the YouTube game, this is what you need to be paying attention to, because like that is how you build an audience, that is how you go viral, that is how you yeah, like getting stuff from external is actually like cheating. It is not like sustainable in the long term. Like I'm trying to do it to like kind of jumpstart my audience and just like have an audience there who are presumably like, you know, some of them at least are interested in what I'm saying and the form. But in order to like make it big on YouTube, you need to like play the algorithm game. You need to like load up with keywords and have like very catchy thumbnails and blah blah blah, whatever. Art historians, interesting. Uploads from the inverted form. See, I'm still like, a lot of my YouTube search traffic is from all these keywords that I've loaded up. These are the two red scare chicks. They're always up here. People really want to see more about them. And Brace Belton and John Raffman, of course, the artist guy that I was talking about a while ago. Engagement down, unsurprising. Didn't make a video on Friday, so yeah. Average view duration down, whatever. This video is still doing good. It's from a few weeks ago, but it's still the best. I mean, it's still doing good this week. Whatever. Somebody click this. Somebody clicked a card. Oh my god. Audience. United States. United Kingdom. Canada. Germany. Australia. Female. Male. 100%. Oh no. The past 7 days, 100% of my audience is male. I don't know. I don't trust this, frankly. Not subscribed is still 66%. Maybe I should start telling people to subscribe in the videos more. Alright, well, got a few boomers. That's nice. Mostly in my own age bracket. And fewer zoomers than I generally expect. Let's go to the last 20 days. In the last 20 days, I have some female viewers. Alright, well, that's enough of that. There's some people in the chat. Let's go back here. And then What's your take on Mufawad? I like Mufawad. I liked Continuity and Rupture and the Communist Necessity. I wrote a review of Continuity and Rupture, and I've also interviewed him for the New Inquiry. So yeah, that book was pretty influential to me. It's pretty formative, and it kind of like maybe like the arguments kind of convinced me to be a Maoist. But for the past like several years, I've just been kind of like coasting and not really bothering to kind of like deepen my understanding of what Maoism means and what that actually entails, and even like the history of Mao, of China. So it's kind of why I'm reading this big Chinese history book. It's a really good book. I recommend it, as I've already done. But trying to like do my due diligence and increase my knowledge. Do I have any other takes on Mufawad Paul? For a while, I thought that he was non-white because of his surname, but then I learned that he is just fully a white guy. His name is Josh Paul, and he just married like a Pakistani lady and like took her last name. He took her last name. Yeah, I'm going to get him on the podcast eventually. I'm waiting until the new year to kind of broach the subject. I want a few more interviews of people who are actually part of the communization tendency, but he's definitely going to be on the podcast. I've interviewed him before, and I've reviewed his book. We have like a line of communication. We have like some rapport. I think he will come on the show. And I'm interested in getting like a kind of critical perspective on communization theory, and I'm interested in learning like what he thinks about value form theory as well. But yeah, I think I predict that he's going to say that communization theory is pretty Eurocentric and unscientific in its approach to conceiving of revolution in like disavowing party formation, but I'll try to like come up with a better outline for the interview so that I can more fully be the representative of communization theory, so he's not able to just blow past any kind of questions on the matter. Fawad Paul is a good writer. That's my take on him. Next. Let's go through my tabs, why not? I've already gone through this browser. How do I go to the other browser? Browser. Properties. Whoa. Okay, there you go. Look at that, a hall of mirrors. Now, isn't that fun? Yes, I'm one of my own concurrent viewers. Isn't that sad? Alright, so what have we got here? Yeah, it turns out I have fucking anterior pelvic tilt. I think it's still a minor case. It's not like as bad as some people. Just because like when I lie on the floor, I can still naturally my lower back is still more or less flat against the floor, but I guess when squatting, it is noticeable, and from like an outsider's perspective, from an external perspective, and it's also I can feel like I was just like over the past week, 2 weeks, I've really been loading up the weight on my squats, so I was able to feel I was feeling like this like kind of strange strain in my lower back. I thought it was from deadlifts, but I couldn't really understand where it was coming from. It seemed a bit mysterious to me. And then somebody told me that my gym partner told me that I am arching my back at the bottom of my squat. So have to. I'm currently looking for a like decent routine, something like 10, 15 minutes a day, just like, stretches or whatever, and like planking that I can do like every day in order to like address the issue. So that's that. uh, Reading the Wikipedia article on avant-garde. Um, Man, I was really pissed off to learn that I no longer have access to my university's library. I guess because I haven't been there in a year, or I haven't been um, enrolled in any classes this year, so they immediately like shut off your access. But normally, I would be able to read anything on the New Left's review, no problem, through my university library, but I got denied, and I sent them an email. Hopefully they'll just let me in. They'll be sympathetic. I'll just like kind of make an argument to say that, because there are like provisions for if you're an alumni, then you can just apply for access to the library, and you don't have to pay or anything. But just because like, and if you're a student, you also have access. So because I am like in between, that I'm fucking scum and like don't deserve to be able to read things. Very frustrating. Anyway, I was reading some more of these Adorno lectures on aesthetics, and there's a reference to this Peter Bürger essay, not this one, but another one that I guess has not been translated into English, frustratingly. Peter Bürger, I've read him on the channel. I need to read that book again. Didn't really understand it. But I was looking for a PDF. It's another more ATP shit. I'm gonna watch this 45-minute video at some point. More ATP shit. And then I'm looking for reading material for next episode of the podcast. We want to read a few more like assorted stuff before we start volume 4 in the new year. But having read like kind of like done a survey of the debates around gender theory, I felt motivated and interested in seeing how communization has addressed race, especially as it is framed by this last essay that we read from Lies magazine. The episode will be out tomorrow. You can listen to it then. I tweeted out something, but nobody responded, because communizers are a bunch of racists. I'm gonna fucking retweet this shit. Anyway. Control page on and page up for changing tabs browser. I meant changing like the actual browser in OBS that I am looking at, because I have two browsers open. So if I go to OBS, then I can like choose a browser source for to like be part of the live stream, to be like projected onto the screen, like the browser that you're looking at right now. But then in order to like change from one browser to another, I have to like go into OBS and like right click and go to properties and whatnot. Whatever, it's not interesting. Just scenes. I was talking shit about your commenting earlier in the live stream. I don't know if you saw that, but I guess it's a bit hard for me to understand what you're going on about. So, oh look, it's Comrade Crimson. Am I outing everybody who is watching right now? Okay, in 6 minutes, I'm going to end. I have a pre-interview scheduled with Chris Chen, member of the EndNotes Collective, at 2:10 Pacific. So I have to. This is. I don't even really know what this is. Like, I was clicking around, like following various links and whatnot, and ended up on this website. It's in French. Close that. Decolonial communization theory? Not very likely. The question of race. Oh yes, because this person, I guess, is a decolonial colonizer or communizer. They're a French person. Window plus left arrow or right arrow for splitting two projects at a time. Alright, well, thanks. Well, that's what I'm reading about. If you know any communist critique of a schmaltzy critique of communization. If anybody knows has any good reading material on theorizations of race, specifically from within a communization framework, I'm interested to hear more. Alright, well, I'm gonna go back to the old live stream. That's about it. Alright, so we got 3 minutes left. Does anybody have anything else to say? Should I continue making vlogs this week? Should I continue with this whole insane project? Or should I focus on doing more podcasts? Or should I do a let's read like I mentioned that I might want to? Let's read being where I would need another camera. I really wanted to have another camera so that I could use my laptop webcam to face at me and then have a camera looking at a book, and I would be reading into a microphone, but then pausing and like underlining and like be able to like look at the text, and I would be like commentating on it at the same time, trying to work to understand it as I'm reading through it, which I think would be helpful for people who are beginners to intermediates, to have somebody who is also a beginner to an intermediate. I mean, I think I'm not really a beginner when it comes to Hegel. I'm not merely a beginner because I've read Kant. So let's read sounds interesting to me. Yes, brother. Thank you, brother. Yeah, let's read. Maybe I'll do that in the new year, because I don't want to start. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. I'll probably just continue, because I still have some stuff. Some stuff came up this week that I want to talk about and give an opinion on. Why can't I use screen capture from an ebook, assuming that the book is in that format? It's mostly because I don't like personally reading ebooks. Like, I would be reading things that I have paper copies of, and I suppose that I could read my own paper copy and then like progress in the ebook at the same time as I'm progressing in my book. So I'd like change to the next page when I change to the next page, but I wouldn't be able to engage with the text on the PDF or whatever. It wouldn't be highlighting or whatnot, and that'd be better than nothing, and maybe I'll end up doing that. But yeah, it's mostly because I personally don't want to read a PDF, so I would prefer to have another camera or like a capture card so that I could plug in the other camera that I have, but I also need a tripod and a microphone stand. By the way, I have a Patreon here. I know that I've spoken about this before. Patreon, as well as a PayPal link that you can send. Yeah, thank you for the libgen and Z library. I am pretty competent when it comes to finding PDFs on the internet, but thank you anyway. As I was saying, yeah, I've related this anecdote before that when Lenin was in the early stages of building his revolutionary party, he would get any interested people who wanted to join the party. He would require them to donate all of their assets, all of their life savings to the party. Not necessarily, not strictly because he wanted to use their money to build the party or whatever, but it's more because he wanted only like committed revolutionaries. He wanted people to demonstrate that they were committed to the cause, that they were ready to live and die for the revolutionary cause by donating all their assets, by like basically forsaking their entire lives and their chance at living like a normal kind of bourgeois life. And I'm not asking for you to donate your assets or all of your life savings or whatever to this channel. But along the same lines, that is kind of how I consider contributions to this channel at this stage, because like I'm quite a far ways off from being able to get like a significant or a meaningful amount of money from contributors. So, and I don't have any like kind of exclusive benefits for contributors. So like, what is your motivation to contribute? It is to demonstrate your interest, for you to demonstrate to me that you're interested in what I'm doing, and for you to send positive reinforcement my way so that I continue doing it. Like this week has been especially hard, for reasons in my personal life. Like I do have a personal life, and things in my life, other projects that I am doing that are not part of this, that take up a lot of time. Um, so that this whole thing requires quite a lot of time on my part. Um, so basically, I'm asking you to contribute financially, even though the money doesn't really mean much to me again at this stage. Hopefully, eventually, there'll be a critical mass of people who begin to contribute financially. But it really takes, some people at an early stage who are, willing to kind of risk something in a way by contributing to something that has no real I don't know. There's not much of a promise. Like, I mean, I've been pretty good at putting out a high volume of content for the past several months. I've been putting out content this entire year, basically, since the beginning of the lockdown, and it's going to continue in one form or another. But yeah, basically, it is kind of like I think it is morally incumbent upon anybody who watches the channel, who likes what I'm doing, who wants to see me, who sees like a potential in it, a potential for me to get better at what I am doing, and who wants me to continue so that I do get better, who sees there being like a kind of space here for this type of content, who wants me to offer a greater range of content. Like I've spoken about, in the new year I'll be opening up a Discord, and I'll be offering like exclusive live streams to contributors and whatnot. There's going like the whole Patreon is going to be restructured in the new year, so hopefully there'll be a lot more incentives, and I'm also going to be doing a lot more interviews on a more regular basis. But basically, you know, please contribute to the Patreon. There are many different tiers that you can contribute at, and it is really important that people choose to contribute financially to demonstrate that this project is worth it. All right, until the next time. Have a nice day.